This is the Inter Miami save of the game.
Attacking third, hard drive to the net. Plays it through. Callender had to make a save. A rebound and still loose in the box. Blocked away and now a right-footed shot off the far right post by Corbino. Is it pinballed all over the place in Callender's area? And it rolls out of play.
Brought to you by PNC Bank. PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you, do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Embark on a culinary road trip through South Florida at the 2025 Orange Bowl Food and Wine Celebration, presented by Florida Blue. An evening of foodie fun awaits on Friday, April 11th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, with unlimited food and drink tastings from over 40 of South Florida's top restaurants and chefs, and dance the night away with the live band and DJ. Tickets start at just $125, and proceeds benefit Orange Bowl Care's community initiatives. Get your tickets at orangebowl.org.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
I was about to criticize CCAT for missing the Theoretically Speaking anniversary, and out of nowhere, the Nuggets fire Michael Malone?
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man, your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. A little delayed start there, but you know what? It's even better on a day like today. It is Tuesday, April 8th, and fitting that it is a Tuesday here on Theoretically Speaking. The vibes are high, the spirit even greater. I am full of joy because I can say to you right now, those CCATs not on the other side of the glass on the ones and twos. Per usual, we have my guy Damian Perez filling in the gap, pinch hitting, if you will. This day, not only does it mark the firing of Michael Malone from the Denver Nuggets after 10 seasons, we're about to get into that. Not only does it mark the day after the Florida Gators, right? Those Gators stay hot. What do they say, Damian? Florida Gators stay hot. That's cute. Whatever. I was rooting for the Cougars. Not only does it mark them also returning to the pinnacle of college basketball for the first time since 2007. Again, it is the 1-year anniversary of this show. So to all that have shared in our misery and our joy, to all that have been a part of this journey, I appreciate you for tapping in with us on a daily basis, and I'm glad that you've been along for the ride. We'll keep this train chugging along If you're watching us on YouTube here on the ESPN West Palm stream on YouTube, you'll see there's a few balloons behind me. We got some cupcakes in office. We are ceremonious today. A lot of parading around in happiness. Partially thanks, obviously to my wife who hooked it all up. But then again, thanks to everybody that's been involved, our partners, our friends, and C-Cat who Damian, this is our first anniversary. And I'm not one to criticize my guy, but, he's he decided there was a moment, a day bigger that he had to go and embark on. So I'm sure you're wondering, Damian, like, where the hell's C-Cat? What's he got going on, right?
I was about to ask you. I feel like that's important.
Yeah. Christian Cat is not here today. Not because he was a Cougars fan like myself and is distraught from what happened last night. I can't believe they didn't get a shot off. We'll get into that. What's one word that you use to describe the finish to that national championship game? No, that's not it. It's because of practice. Cue my guy, Allen Iverson.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
C-Cat's at Augusta National Golf Course. He's there to watch the Masters. Not like the opening round. This isn't Thursday. It's Tuesday. Not to see. He's not even invited to the dinner or anything like that. He's just there to watch him practice today. Is that fair? Is that a good enough excuse?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
This is your anniversary, your first year anniversary. It's not like, you guys have been doing it for 5-10 years, which you guys will, but it's your first year. You got to at least be there for your first year.
We'll see if Tina is going to pull up for the happy hour. We'll see if she also is going to forget about our anniversary. This is cause for divorce. I just got my first anniversary out of the way with my wife. It was in February, and I remembered. I celebrated. I was there, and if I would have missed out on it, it would have been cause for separation, cause for divorce, maybe even a firing. What the hell is going on in the NBA? Damian Perez, as we take people along for the ride here in the 2 o'clock hour, we hear 30 minutes ago, just a short 30 minutes ago, we got some breaking news from Sham Charania, ESPN NBA Insider.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire. If your vehicle has issues with braking or other issues, get it fixed right now at St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This, like I said, actually not even 37 minutes ago, the initial announcement from Sham Charania. The Denver Nuggets have fired head coach Michael Malone. Sources tell ESPN. What we've learned since, they are promoting David Adelman, who will serve as the interim head coach for the Nuggets as they have 3 games left. And the Nuggets have also cleaned house from the top down. They fire general manager Calvin Booth. The Nuggets on a 4-game skid. They have dropped out of the 3 seed in the Western Conference. In fact, it seems like they are closer to finishing 8th than they would finishing in the top 6, which would keep them out of the play-in. And 2 years removed, not even 2 full calendar years removed from them winning an NBA title, Michael Malone is on the job hunt. And the Nuggets are under an interim coach. 3 games left. I thought the Grizzlies firing was puzzling. This one caught me by even more of a surprise. And when I think about the big moves that have happened in the NBA this year that literally you were like out of nowhere, huge shockers, I think back to number 1, the Luka Doncic trade, right? Like seeing him in the middle of the night get shipped off from Dallas, a place where he made his home, a place where he became a cult-like figure. And you can tell that that's what it was because in his departure, they literally lost a grip on life. Like fans, they lost their interest in the actual NBA. There are a lot of Dallas Mavericks fans that have departed from that franchise and have been rooting for the Lakers since Luka got shipped off in the middle of the night. Then you have the Grizzlies firing, which that was about what? That was about like a week and a half ago. You can kind of see it coming that there was turmoil, that there was a little bit of disdain and a lack of trust in what trajectory that franchise was going in. It was a bit of a shockwave. Not as shocking as this because the ceiling that the Grizzlies had hit, Damian, they got to the 2 seed a couple of years, right? They had gotten close over and over, but sometimes it will be injuries that derailed them or just inexperience. This one right here, though, the Denver Nuggets are operating as if they're the Los Angeles Lakers. I texted one of my close buddies. It was a groomsman at my wedding, Isaiah. He's from Denver. He is a huge Denver sports fan. He has been rooting for the Nuggets since birth. I texted him telling him that Michael Malone got fired, thinking that he would be a little shocked, a little dismayed, a little upset, a little inquisitive. You want to know what he responded back to me, D?
What was it? No shock at all, I'm assuming.
He said, good. The guy that delivered you an NBA championship, your first in franchise history, by the way. This is not a storied franchise. This is not a team that expects to be at the mountaintop year after year. The guy that helped lead you and was one of the guys that was like literally in front of the microphone, jacking, talking smack, rallying the fan base, like that same dude. I know it's been a little bad as of late. I know he's made some decisions down the line here in the past few weeks that has some fans a little disrupted. I mean, he himself talked about how Michael Malone sat the starters against the Spurs, lost that game, been losing to a lot of the top Western Conference contenders down the stretch. They're obviously not going to contend for a championship this year. But the Nuggets to fire that guy and the general manager, and then for people to turn around and say good, who are fans of Denver, I am absolutely incredulous, Damian. I did not know that the standard of the Nuggets was that high. But you know what that tells me? This has little to do with the history and the tradition of the Denver Nuggets, and it has a lot more to do with the prime and the ceiling and the all-time greatness that they feel like they have on their roster right now, and the 30-year-old big man from Serbia, Nikola Jokic. This firing had less to do with Malone and more to do with extracting as much as possible out of number 15 before he's long gone. And I do think that if they felt Michael Malone was not the guy to keep it going past this year, maybe it was time to cut ties. I'm just curious, what was the breaking point? What was the straw that broke the camel's back? Because I don't see it as a move that was calculated. You don't wait until there's 3 games left in the season to pull the trigger on something like this, unless you're the Grizzlies, I guess. This is weird.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think with Jokic, you want to maximize his peak. This has to be a situation where he's just flat out lost the locker room, because it makes no sense to fire your head coach 3 games before the playoff run.
Crazy.
Even if it's just to maximize your star player's peak, you can wait until the end of the season or the end of the playoffs to make that move. You don't have to do it with 3 games left before the playoffs. I think the fact that there's 3 games left, like you mentioned, the timing just doesn't make sense. The only thing that comes to mind is him losing the locker room.
Yeah. In the last 4 games for the Nuggets, again, which have all been losses, there was the April Fool's Day, April 1 game against the Timberwolves at home. Who can forget it? It was one of the great regular season games of this season, if not the best one. Jokic, his stat line from that one, 61 points, 18 for 29 from the field. He went 6 for 11 from deep. He added 10 rebounds and 10 boards with a couple of steals. He played so well, and the Nuggets fought hard. Obviously, that was the one where Russell Westbrook, he kind of sails them down the stretch. He bricks the layup right at the rim. And Anthony Edwards in the locker room, like, you hear the way that the Timberwolves players spoke of the play of Jokic in the locker room afterwards. It was reminiscent of when Larry Bird called Michael Jordan. He was like, that wasn't Michael Jordan. That was like God. Like, again, remember, the Celtics beat the Bulls in that 63-point game by Jordan in the postseason. I believe that was 86, 87, and somewhere in that range. The Celtics won the game, but Larry Bird spoke of Michael Jordan as if he was ascending to be the greatest player of all time. That was the same way in which Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle and even McDaniel was talking of him as well. Jaden McDaniel in the locker room after that win by the Timberwolves, they were like, yo, there was nothing we can do to actually stop that guy. We're just happy we outlasted them. The next game, the very next day after a long and drawn-out fight, Michael Malone decides to bench the starters. That was at home versus the Spurs, who are obviously tanking, obviously in a mode right now where they're trying to put themselves in the best position to get Cooper Flagg. They lose that game. Jokic comes back 2 nights later at the Golden State Warriors, 33 points, 12 boards, 9 assists. Again, 13 from 17 from the floor. Dude didn't miss. Dude didn't miss at all. You still lose that game against Golden State. And then a couple of nights ago, at home versus the Pacers, 41, 15, and 13 from Jokic. He was 18 from 33 from the floor. He didn't shoot it that well from beyond the arc, but still a very efficient stat line, and the kind of stat line from a star that you get where you expect to win. All 4 of those games losses. All 4 of those games have the Nuggets in position right now to potentially fall to the 8 seed, and It came literally to the detriment of Michael Malone's coaching career. He's the all-time winningest coach in Denver history. He is now a coaching free agent, and the Nuggets will go into either the play-in or the playoffs under the leadership of his former assistant. I don't know if you're a Nuggets fan right now, if you should be celebrating it like my buddy Isaiah did. I'm not sure if you're a Nuggets fan right now, if you even want to see your team sneak into this postseason and have to go up against a team like the Lakers or the Thunder or even the Timberwolves, who you probably don't feel confident that you'll get past this year. I'm curious if this move, firing the GM and the coach, has more to do with the Nuggets hoping that they are able to actually ascend in the draft order and get some young, cheap talent. They probably were watching March Madness like you and I, Damian. They were like, oh, hey, Cooper Flagg looks damn good. I mean, I know Ace Bailey and them boys out there in Rutgers didn't play, but I would love to have them on the squad. How about Walter Clayton Jr. from the Florida Gators?
Projected second-round pick before the tournament started. I'm sure that's changed.
Imagine if the Nuggets, who right now have been without Jamal Murray because of hamstring issues, and the timetable on that seems like he's going to be out.
Similar mold, too.
Yeah.
Very similar mold to Jamal Murray.
Imagine if you bring in a guy like a Walter Clayton Jr. and you feel like, hey, we're not winning a round in the Western Conference playoffs. Their ceiling feels like maybe they sneak out of the first round depending on what matchup they get. So maybe they're saying it's championship or bust in Denver, and Michael Malone, either it was a rift with ownership, it was an unwillingness to maybe buy into that long-term picture, or maybe, again, I would have to assume with Nikola Jokic, who is a three-time MVP. Did he get the third, right? Yeah, three-time MVP in this league, a finals MVP and an NBA champion, and he is in the peak of his prime. If Jokic didn't sign off on this doesn't go past the finish line. So Jokic even agreed with this. There had to be some kind of issues within that locker room, Damian. You were spot on saying he might have lost the team.
Well, the thing is that you usually see, the head coach or the GM go, but not both. That's the interesting part. And like we mentioned, 3 games before the playoff run. So you're going to let go of both your GM, your head coach, right before the playoff run. I mean, it's the writing is on the wall. Something has to happen. I'm sure there'll be more details that will come out. But for the most part, the writing is on the wall. Something internally, something serious must have happened within the locker room. Or maybe even it's more of a case of the general manager and the coach not connecting with the owner. Who knows? But something definitely, and I'm sure there'll be more details to come out as this news kind of unfolds.
It will. There has to be, and I'm waiting on some of that reporting to come out. But again, right now, if you're the Nuggets, it's no longer about 2025. 2 weeks ago, people were optimistic about what. Yeah,
it's over. Shot. It's over.
Absolutely, it's done for the Nuggets and for the Grizzlies, for that matter, who fired their coach.
I got to give you some pushback on that. I think if you have a healthy Jokic, I mean, he put up over 150 points in the last 3 games that he's played.
All right, and what did they do in those last 3 games?
It's the regular season, though. I mean, I'm who's going to make the adjustments for the playoffs?
Yeah.
But I think whenever you have a player, a talent like Nikola Jokic on the court, healthy, ready to go. I mean, we've seen what he does in the playoffs. We've seen him. Has he had 3 triple-doubles back-to-back, or I think he was 1 assist short?
Yeah.
In the last
1 assist short. But again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying it doesn't feel like the Nuggets even believe that or are trending that way. And I'm curious whether or not they had these internal conversations. And again, this is all speculation. I'm waiting on the reporting to come out to figure out what happens here, because this is unprecedented. A coach that not only won a title less than 2 calendar years ago in Michael Malone, but also a guy that has his team in the heat of the playoff race. It's not like these guys are the 11 or the 12 and trying to fight into the play-in. Right now, as things stand, the Nuggets are still the 4 seed. If the NBA season stopped today, they would have a home court advantage opening round series against the Los Angeles Clippers.
And this is the Nuggets we're talking about. This is not like the Lakers, the Celtics, who kind of short leash their coach. This is the Nuggets, Denver Nuggets, who are, like you mentioned, kind of just now establishing themselves as a year-to-year contender. You know, they recently won the first championship. So this is the team who I think with this move are also making a statement. Like, we demand excellence. If we're not going to get excellence, and if we don't see that excellent path, then, we're going to go a different direction.
Hey, I will tell you this. You never want to live in the land of mediocrity. You never want to live in the land of feeling like you're not good enough to win the title, but you're also not bad enough to pick high in the draft. The Nuggets they had to feel like they were trending towards that way. Michael Porter Jr. has not lived up to his contract. The reason why they got bounced in the second round last year against the Minnesota Timberwolves had less to do with Jokic, less to do with Murray, even less to do with what the Timberwolves were able to do. Look at the last two games, Game 6 and Game 7. Nuggets were up again in that series, 3-2. The Nuggets felt well on their way to a Western Conference Finals matchup with the Mavericks, which they would have matched up pretty well. They should have likely been in the NBA Finals last year. They were up 3-2 against the Timberwolves, and Michael Porter Jr. didn't show up for any of those last two games. Go back and look at the stat line. You can't make that much money, and I believe he averaged in that entire series 11 points and 3 rebounds. If you want to know how Michael Malone lost his job, look no further than the lack of buy-in, the lack of defensive effort, and even the lack of offensive production when the Nuggets needed it most from Michael Porter Jr. That contract is already looking like a dud. Then you look at Jamal Murray, who's obviously a guy you're committed to long-term, but he's having some injury concerns, and he's a small guard. You look at the rest of this roster, and when you're leaning that heavily on Russell Westbrook, how serious are you as a contender in 2025? I just don't have the same kind of faith that you do that throw them into a playoff series this year and they might come out swimming. Not when the Lakers have both LeBron and they have a guy in Luka Doncic, plus you have role players around them like Austin Reeves that are starting to gain confidence. You're starting to get more out of Jackson Hayes. Like the Lakers are more dangerous. The Warriors have Jimmy, Draymond, and Steph. You don't have the depth in your roster to compete with a team like that. I don't even have to mention what the Thunder are doing right now in the West. And the Rockets, the Houston Rockets, I would feel more confident about in a playoff series than the Nuggets right now. The Clippers are sneakily one of the hottest teams in the NBA. I get it. That the Nuggets are punting on this season. What I don't understand is why they saw fit that Michael Malone would not be good for them in the near future. That's what I'm confused on. So after 10 seasons, the winningest coach in Nuggets history, well, now he got the pink slip. The Western Conference standings, they can turn any which way over the next few days. We got a week until the postseason starts, Damian, and I have no clue how this thing is going to shape out.
It's the wild, wild West for sure in the West.
But what we do know is the door is shut for the Nuggets this season. We'll see how they regroup this offseason. And I think this, again, has more to do with them wanting to add starting level talent in the draft this year. Looking at guys like Walter Clayton Jr., but it goes deeper than that. There's a lot more guys. This draft is going to be deep, especially right in the middle of the first round. And a team like the Nuggets, if they can get the 14th, 15th, 16th pick instead of the 25th, 26th, that could be the difference between whether or not they can contend next year, because there's nothing you can do with that roster in this offseason to add that level of talent outside of the NBA draft. I don't see them being able to make a trade, and plus they're going to be past the luxury tax. This is another effect of the second apron in the new CBA and the NBA, which has created so many moves. Luka Doncic, that move tied to the second apron. The Timberwolves getting rid of Karl Anthony Towns. That is a direct result of teams fearing being above the second apron. And I'm not going to get into the details of what all that stuff means, but it's pretty much like a hard cap. You don't want to be past that because it makes it much harder to do roster construction, Damian. So what was your point here on Western Conference, and then we'll move on to college basketball?
I also think the Denver Nuggets, really quick, just to put a bow on it, I feel like the Denver Nuggets, they should have made a move last season or the season before. If you look around the league, I mean, every team that's kind of elevated made a big trade. That's kind of the theme with the NBA. If you got pieces like Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, there has been, all-star Hall of Fame potential players like Kevin Durant that have came out onto the market. Yeah. And you don't really see the Denver Nuggets in conversation for those players. You mentioned, players that have underperformed their contract. Maybe they could have packaged somebody, just make a move. And that goes to show why they also fired the GM in a sense.
And it also goes to show why you never crown a team and say this is going to be a dynastic run. Remember when the Nuggets won? I'll never forget sitting inside Kaseya Center and watching the Nuggets steamroll the Heat and having to hear afterwards about how strong this team is, how built for the future they are, how Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Christian Brown and all of these guys are going to be a force, and this is the next Warriors dynasty. And I said, pump the brakes. Let's see it at least one more year before we start parading around this team as if they're going to be the heir apparent to the Golden State Warriors or the 90s Bulls. Let me see it again, and we haven't. This is why I always pour cold water on dynasty talk after one championship. I'm going to do it for the Philadelphia Eagles against my own actual logic, because that team does feel built for the long term. I did it against the Boston Celtics, which, again, we're seeing other teams rise and we're seeing other contenders grow up. Look at the Thunder right now. They're a deeper and better team than the Boston Celtics are today. This time last year, everybody was saying the Celtics not only were going to be the odds-on favorite to win the championship, but they'll likely have the roster to be able to compete and contend for back-to-back. Pump the brakes on all that talk, and especially pump the brakes on the Florida Gators and all of the celebration and joy, because I am just absolutely sad. I do want to say congratulations. I didn't want to wait too long into the show to congratulate the Florida Gators. By the way, Devontae in the YouTube chat says you don't want to be the Steelers. You don't want to be the Steelers. Yeah, right in the middle of the pack. Alex Smith called the Nuggets the one-and-done Nuggets. Last night, the Florida Gators, they executed down the stretch. They were down 12. For the third straight game, they were down double digits. I believe in the Elite Eight, actually, it was only 9 points to Auburn. But
Correct.
in the Final Four, it was just 9 points to Auburn. But again, 3 straight games against top-seeded teams. This Florida Gators team trailed. They never stopped believing, and it always came back to Walter Clayton Jr., who got them over the hump. We retell the tales of last night as the Gators won the championship. We also dig into what is the one word you use to describe the finish of that game. I cannot imagine how Sharp feels today. I don't even want to think about how head coach Kelvin Sampson of the Houston Cougars is trying to cope with that loss from last night. So much on the line. The first ever national championship for the Houston Cougars. That would have been Kelvin Sampson's 800th career win and his 300th win with those Cougars at U of H, which he joined in 2016 when there was no kind of lore or aura around that program. He turned that team into a perennial contender. He was on the doorstep, and they couldn't get it done in San Antonio. Absolutely sad. But we dig into the one word you use to describe that finish, because I don't believe there's a worse way to lose in the game of basketball than to have a chance to win it and not get a field goal attempt off, not just on that possession, but their last 4. We dig into that and more on the other side. It is Theoretically Speaking, baby. It's a Tuesday. It is our anniversary. And before we go to the other side, I do want to tell you all, there is no place like a Duffy's Sports Grill to hang out, to watch these games. I mean, there's 80 or more televisions in every single location, but on top of that, 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. You can set your watch to it, because it don't matter what time it is. As long as you walk into a Duffy's and they're open, 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. Pick your poison. They got plenty of options. They also have plenty of great starters on the menu for you to check in on and see. The ahi tuna. You got the amazing mozzarella sticks. How about the jumbo wings and the award-winning burgers? I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Duffy's Sports Grill. Find the nearest one to you. In fact, Damian, I'm excited because I'm going to be a celebrity judge for the Orange Bowl Food and Wine Festival. This celebration of food and wine happening Friday is going to be at the Hard Rock Seminole, right down the street. Hop on the highway and you can get there. And the beauty of it all, Damian, Duffy's is going to be there. Come on. You know it's going to be a good event when Duffy's is there. They're going to be in the competition. I have to judge food, and Duffy's will be involved. You already know where I'm leaning, though.
They set the standards.
Come on. It's really like that. So, again, Duffy'sMVP.com. They'll be involved with the Orange Bowl Food and Wine celebration. You can get involved with that as well. Look online to get your tickets. I'll tell you more about that for the Food and Wine Festival of the Orange Bowl. Plus, I'll get to this national championship finale that was a great tournament. Lackluster ending. And I'm only talking about the last play. I'm not talking about the game itself, which was epic. This is Theoretically Speaking. It's the anniversary. That's Damian Perez. I'm Theo Dorsey. National champion shot on the other side. Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
No words to explain what happened last night outside of just, hey, congrats to the champs. Congrats to the champs. I want to start it that way because Florida did win a national title, their first since 2007 when they went back-to-back with Joakim Noah and Al Horford and Brewer. I mean, an electric squad. The Gator boys stay hot, yada, yada, yada. So I do want to at least, congratulate the folks that got the thing done last night. Also, Elijah Martin, FAU, former guard for the Owls. It didn't have the greatest of games last night, but he definitely showed up defensively, only 2 for 10, 7 points. 7 points. And also for Elijah Martin, he had the final 2 free throws for Florida down the stretch that gave them their first lead since it was 8-6 in the first half. With 46 seconds left, Martin stepped up to the line down 1, drained them both. Just ice water in the veins. You knew he was going to do that. What you didn't expect to happen was the final possession for the Houston Cougars. Down by 2, 19 seconds to go. Kelvin Sampson calls a timeout and draws something up. And to be honest with you, the looks that they got, the play that he drew up, it looks like it was going to work perfectly. Sometimes the moment is a little too grand for those involved, and you just did not expect the Kelvin Sampson coach team to feel that way. But Emmanuel Sharp, who was having a poor shooting night, who also seemed a little unsure of himself down the stretch, despite showing great confidence all throughout the year and being one of the linchpin players for that offense. He keeps them going. Him and LJ Cryer. He was a second option on that play. He comes up expecting the screen. The screen doesn't really work on Walter Clayton Jr., the guard for Florida, who has been the closer for the Gators. So he shoots past it, and when Sharp catches the ball, There's 5 seconds left in the game. The Cougars are down by 2, and then the unthinkable happens. Take a listen to how the national championship closed out last night. Gators winning 65-63.
To go. Use it. Give it up. Cryer. 6 seconds. 5 seconds. Sharp. He walked. He can't touch it. He can't. 1 second. And it's over. Florida's back on top of the college basketball world.
He turned the ball over. He did not get a shot attempt up. In the biggest moment, these are the moments that you dream of as a basketball player. And again, I don't say this to ridicule the player, Emmanuel Sharp, who is a Florida native. And, of course, the number 21, the guard for Houston, who's probably been getting a lot of hate. And I hate that that's happening to him probably today. But what I will say is we dream of that. We pantomime it since birth. If you are a player that is trying to ascend to the heights that he was able to do, you shooting – In English class in 8th period, you're shooting balled up paper balls into the trash can, counting down with your friends. You're yelling Kobe as you throw pieces of an apple core into the trash can at the crib and whatnot. Like in your driveway with the backboard goal hung up on the, not the full goal post, but just the backboard goal up there hanging up. You do this all the time alone. Remember that commercial that I think it was the NBA had it like about 5-6 years ago that showed like NBA players themselves, but like in their driveway faking like they're like. I
do remember.
Right?
The NBA kind of owned commercials for a while.
Oh, man. They had some great ones. They've had some great ones. That's what you dream of, and I hate it for Sharp. I hate it for the Cougars, and I absolutely hate it for Kelvin Sampson that you don't even give yourself an attempt. This is the absolute worst way to lose a basketball game, let alone the last one of the season. I would rather fall on the other side of a buzzer beater, like what I saw happen to the FAU Owls, right? 2 years ago in the Final Four when Elijah Martin was with the Owls, he had the game of his life. I believe 26 points. He was balling out. Like FAU led by double digits in the second half, similar to the Houston Cougars did. And down the stretch, as the game got tight, the Owls players seemed to make mistake and miscue after miscue, just enough for San Diego State to sneak back in. And then there it was, the last play of the game, Lamont Butler right there from the short corner over Nick Boyd at the buzzer, nailing it, 72-71 San Diego State. And the Owls were that shot away from making it to the national championship game. I'll never forget the way I felt sitting there at NRG Stadium in Houston and believing just 10 seconds before that shot that, oh, my God, we're going to be right back here Monday to watch FAU, Florida Atlantic, play for a national title. Like this Dusty May-led crew, this unassuming head coach who feels like he has all of the materials to be one of the next great ones, especially given what he did at Michigan this past year. Like this squad that had a bunch of guys that nobody could name, and now 2 years later, a guy like Elijah Martin is a household name amongst college basketball fans. They were that close, and I didn't think there was a more painful loss than being that close and losing on a buzzer beater shot until I watched what happened to the Cougars last night. That was incredible. That was actually, in the words of the Cougars head coach, Kelvin Sampson himself, he called it incomprehensible to not be able to get a shot off. I call it Cowboys-esque. Houston turned into Dallas last night, and I say that not even in a joking way, but it reminds me of Dak Prescott sliding in the playoffs and the time ticking off. It reminds me of Tony Romo botching the snap and them not even getting a chance to attempt that field goal. It even reminds me of Ezekiel Elliott snapping the ball as a center and getting absolutely blown up and not giving your offense a chance to even have the prayer. It was demoralizing. It was sad and it was sickening. And I could not imagine what it felt like to be in that building, Damian.
Yeah, like you said, this is kind of the shot that you role play your whole life. You set up in the driveway when you're playing outside, when you're young growing up. This is this shot. This is the moment that you dream to have. And it's for a player like Sharp to have such a great tournament, to come this far, to grind out wins like they did, and for it to come down to that shot on that moment. I mean, that's a tough, like you said, probably the worst way to lose for a player who's got a bright future. We got to say it too.
Yeah, and I will say you'll be able to come back next year. And Damian, I have a buddy who was at the game, covering the game, in fact, and I'm curious for him. like to be in that arena and see how things shook out and feel the energy just get sucked out as we don't even get a chance to see a game-winning buzzer beater happen. I'm just curious what that felt like from within the Alamo Dome out in San Antonio. So we'll get that guy, Jalen Gilkey, who also is a big-time piece of the family here on Theoretically Speaking, but also was covering the Final Four for his station WFMY as Duke. We anticipated Duke being there. That's another part of the puzzle here is the Houston Cougars, yeah, they were a 1 seed. Nobody believed they were going to get past the Blue Devils. Not even myself. Not until the final buzzer did I believe that Kelvin Sampson-led squad would be able to get it done, but they fought, they clawed, they executed perfectly down the stretch to make it to the national title game. And then to lose it in that fashion, it just had to be absolutely sickening. And to tell us what it felt like within the Alamo Dome, my dog, Jalen, who was there to cover the Blue Devils, but instead was covering them Cougars from H-Town. Jalen, what the heck was there? What was the sound that was made when we saw him leap up, dribble the ball, and realize, oh, I can't touch this thing again?
It was a gasp from about 68,000 people, a simultaneous gasp, because I think it was on the Florida side, at first it was, he's about to raise up and hit one of these big shots that we've seen Sharp hit already this weekend. And then once he lets the ball go due to the high contest, then it's just like a gasp from the Houston side. All the Cougars fans are in disbelief because now everybody's looking at the clock. There's 2 seconds, 1 second, loose ball, bodies on the floor, strewn everywhere. And, Walter Clayton, he recovers, steals it, time runs out, throws the ball up into the crowd. Florida's your national champion, man. I'll tell you what, this is actually my third Final Four that I've covered, just being in the Carolinas. I've been privileged to have that experience so far. 2022, I was out there for Duke and UNC in the Final Four. Caleb Love shot. Last year, I was with NC State on their magical run. But I think this weekend's Final Four was the greatest culmination of basketball games I've ever witnessed. I mean, the Florida-Auburn game was spectacular. Auburn with a 9-point lead. Into the second half, Walter Clayton rips off 10 straight points for Florida, carries them, drops 34 after dropping 30 the round before. And then you wouldn't think the Duke-Houston game could top that, but then it does with a collapse of monumental proportions in the last 90 seconds from the Blue Devils. And then it's like, okay, wait, game can't get better than that. And then the national title game, I mean, it's every day, every game, the stakes were raised, and it was some of the greatest basketball I've ever been privy to watch, and I was just so blessed and fortunate to be able to be there.
So Jalen, and again, Jalen joins us, WFMY sports anchor. He was there to cover the Duke Blue Devils, who everybody had Cooper Flagg and the Blue Devils making the title game. A lot of people had them winning it. That was a crazy way that they lost down the stretch. I asked my pops this morning, I was like, yo, I can't think of a more demoralizing end to a game in the history of my watching of basketball. And I asked him, what did it remind him of? And he went straight to the Fab Five and Chris Webber calling the timeout. Like, bruh, we didn't live that live, right? Like we were either babies or not born yet, you and I. But could you imagine a team like that was so like nationally beloved, not even having a chance to have a stab at the thing because of a weird, erroneous effort like that? Like that. I feel like that's probably the best parallel.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, I think the Duke game was probably the most shocking result. I don't know if it was the better game because, I mean, Houston, Florida, that was a dogfight, man, from the opening tip. I think the Duke game was the most shocking result of the weekend, though, just because Blue Devils were up 14 in the second half. I mean, they were up 9 with 2 minutes and 5 seconds to play. And then Cooper Flagg hit a three with about 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go, and they couldn't get another field goal for the rest of the game. They had more turnovers in the last 3 minutes and 15 seconds than they had field goals. I mean, Cooper Flagg was sensational. He had 8 points in the first half, 19 in the second half. But his boys left him out to dry. Conker Nipple had 12 in the first half. He ended the game with 16. He had a layup early in the second half, and then he had 2 free throws with 30 seconds to go. Junior Tyrese Proctor, who's been with John Shire since day one. They both entered. John Shire started as head coach during Tyrese Proctor's freshman year. They've never made it to the Final Four in John Shire's era. Tyrese Proctor gets up to the free throw line. Duke up 1, 20 seconds to go, misses the front end. Now, I'm going to take you back to last year in the Elite Eight when they lost to NC State. Tyrese Proctor went 0 for 9 in that game, and he also missed the front end of a 1-1 under a minute to go. So it was like Scary Movie 6. It was like, it's like it felt like a sequel, maybe a trilogy, just a bad movie that you just can't stop watching.
And I know I was gonna say, I know you got to fight to catch back to get back to the Carolinas there, but I have a question, man. The physicality that Houston showed in the first half, and then the way that the Florida Gators came out of the intermission, trying to kind of fight back and beat back up on Houston, did it feel like the officiating shifted in the second half as the whistles grew more, and it almost feels like that kind of changed the game? The Gators got into the bonus in a hurry.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, it didn't feel like the officiating shifted. The officiating did shift. There was only 4 fouls called in the first half. The Florida Gators were in the 1-1 with 14 minutes to go in the second half. So there was a clear shift in officiating. Now, the physicality didn't change, but the way they called the game changed. And that was something that I spoke about with some of my other colleagues and some of the fellow media members on Press Row. And we all couldn't believe what we were seeing, some of the calls that were being made on both ends.
Yeah.
And but what really changed was, Walter Clayton Jr. had 0 points in the first half, and he had 0 points about 5 minutes into the second half. And then he got a couple free throws. He got an and one. And then I started looking around. I was sitting behind Carlos Boozer, and I just yelled out, "The grease is getting hot." And then Carlos Boozer yells out, "It's time to drop the chicken." and then next thing you know, Walter Clayton was starting to boogie. Florida Gators having started to really put it together. But you know who saved Florida? Will Richards, man. He hits a huge jump shot in that first half to keep them in it. Houston just wasn't able to score. Their offense really bogged down when L.J. Cryer was off the court. Anytime they subbed him out, things really just fell apart for the Houston offense. And those last 3 possessions were some of the most brutal basketball I've seen. And I would have said it with my life, but I can't even say it was the most brutal basketball of the weekend because of how things went for Duke. But regardless, It was just what a weekend. What a weekend. And for it to be 4 number 1 seeds, we got exactly what we should have got. 3 great games, and we got a great team crowned as national champion, featuring a player who captivated America during his run during March.
Jalen, appreciate you pulling up and giving us some tales from inside the Alamo Dome, man. Safe travels back to the Carolinas, and I hope like hell you did not break out the clubs while in San Antonio. There's enough golf balls in the water. There's enough.
Listen, brother, I'd have brought a couple sleeves. I should have put a couple in the Alamo. I was working too hard. I wanted to though. I'm going tomorrow though. As soon as I touch back in Carolina, I got a tea time ready for me for tomorrow.
Say less.
Come join me.
No, hell no. Appreciate your time, bro, and safe travels. That is Jalen Gilkey. Join us on the Baptist Health Hotline, who was there last night for what was one of the more incredible finishes that we've ever seen in the sport of basketball, but specifically in the Final Four or national championship game. That was the 3rd largest comeback in a title game that the Florida Gators completed. And it also, for Houston, they further their record. 7 Final Four appearances and 0 national champions. That is another record in the NCAA, and I would hope they learn from that. I would hope Kelvin Sampson does continue to come back for a couple of more years, and it would feel terrible if he does not end his career with at least 1 championship. He is one of the great coaches of this era of college basketball. Jalen joined us there on the Baptist Health Hotline, and you know what the number is, 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. One word to describe the finish from the national championship game as the Gators roll and get the win. 888-760-3776. Incomprehensible. For me, it's Cowboys-esque. What is it to you? The Baptist Health Hotline. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit BaptistHealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting BaptistHealth.net/ortho. I think, almost caught you, CCAD. CCAD is out. Damian Perez is in for CCAD, and I think, Damian, that this great play that we've seen from the one seeds, these very well-seasoned college basketball players and strong play from guys like the freshman standouts like Cooper Flagg to the Walter Claytons of the world, I think teams like the Nuggets, teams like the Grizzlies, all those other teams that are tanking their way to the top of the draft, they see something in the water there. They're like, yo, we got to get our hands on some of these ballers because Jalen was not kidding. Not only does Final Four save this tournament, which everybody was down on because of the lack of Cinderellas, it proved to us the benefits of the transfer portal, of NIL, and of the trajectory of college basketball. That was some damn good play, not just in San Antonio, but really from the Elite Eight on. And that's what you get when the best players are on the best teams with some of the best coaches. I love it.
Yeah, this is definitely a success story from this new era, per se. You know, you had Walter Clayton, who played for Iona, and Rick Pitino, 2 years back?
Yeah.
Elijah Martin, who played for RFAU Owls. So just to see them, and by the way, both Florida boys, just to see them regroup at UF and win a national championship, I think, like you said, there was a lot of questions with this new era, a lot of speculations. So this for sure has to be a good example of what that new era can produce and what it will produce moving forward.
Good for the mid-majors, man. That was a win for FAU for Elijah Martin to get that, right? Like Walter Clayton, like you said, Iona, Elijah Martin, FAU. Even Micah Handgolden, the big man, he was from Marshall.
Will Richard, he started it all, actually.
He was in Belmont. He was a guy that one of the first transfers to come through. He was at Belmont, and he was 4 for 5 from 3 early on in that first half. He was the only bit of offense the Gators had. He kept them in the game.
He was kind of like, if we were to name an MVP of like all the way up until the final 3 to 4 minutes, I think it has to be Will Richard.
Yeah.
Like you said, he kept them in the game. You know, any big shots, every time Houston kind of went on a run, kind of started distancing themselves, he hit a big three or he hit a big shot or he made a big hustle play. So I think apart from Walter Clayton, Will Richard has to be highlighted as one of the player of the game for the UF Gators.
And as much as it is the story of the game was Houston failing to get a final shot off, all the credit to Walter Clayton Jr., who closed out and shocked Sharp into coming out of his body and taking that dribble midair. So
that was a block.
I don't know if he gets the block, but he would have gotten a very strong contest. Maybe he would have tipped it. At the end of the day, you got to shoot that ball if you're Sharp because the Houston Cougars had 15 offensive rebounds to that point, and I do believe they had great position to be able to get another one. So even if he gets a fingertip on that basketball, you likely get a rebound and a putback. You only need 2 to tie it. We're talking about overtime at the Alamo Dome, which would have been epic. That's the result and the finish we all deserved. We at least deserved a chance to see that ball go up at the rim. On the other side, to get around here, it is the practice round Tuesday of the Masters. It is the day after the national championship. It's the day of the firing of Michael Malone, but also the 1-year anniversary of Theoretically Speaking, right here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
In South Florida, when it's time to get back in the game, there's a name you need to know. HSS Florida. HSS ranked number 1 in orthopedics for 15 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. HSS brings world-class care to Palm Beach and Wellington. Whether it's a joint replacement, sports injury, or orthopedic trauma, HSS Florida treats athletes of all ages. Visit hss.edu/Florida to schedule your consultation today. HSS Florida, where champions and everyday people alike get the care they need to stay at the top of their game.
Embark on a culinary road trip through South Florida at the 2025 Orange Bowl Food and Wine Celebration, presented by Florida Blue. An evening of foodie fun awaits on Friday, April 11th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, with unlimited food and drink tastings from over 40 of South Florida's top restaurants and chefs, and dance the night away with the live band and DJ. Tickets start at just $125, and proceeds benefit Orange Bowl Care's community initiatives. Get your tickets at orangebowl.org.
Hey everyone, it's Cade Shumsland. Every week, Land Rover Palm Beach supports local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community by naming a Player of the Week. This year, $35,000 will be rewarded to student athletes and their schools. Tune in to ESPN West Palm High School Game Day every Friday night as I unveil this week's featured athlete. If you have a great performance that I need to know about, DM us at ESPN West Palm, Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Panthers fans, the season is winding down as the Cats prepare to defend as Stanley Cup champions. Join the ESPN West Palm Street team and Coors Light at Townie's Tavern in Palm City, Saturday, April 12th from 5 to 7 p.m. as they take on the Buffalo Sabres. Come cheer on the Cats, enjoy ice-cold Coors Lights, and you'll have a chance to win Florida Panthers tickets. See you Saturday at Townie's in Palm City, and let's get playoff ready. Must be 21 or older to participate, and Molson Coors reminds you to please drink responsibly.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire. Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
It was the single greatest year for any conference in the history of basketball. The SEC dominated. It also might have been the single worst year when you combine basketball and football for the ACC. They are the joke of college sports right now while the SEC ascends back to the promised land, and I don't see it going any way different. I mean, think about it. You got 14 teams enter the tournament, which was a record set by the SEC. You got 7 of them into the Sweet 16. They had half of the Final Four, and the Florida Gators eventually crowned champions, 65-63 over the Houston Cougars last night. But again, if you're not a Gators fan and you are here in Palm Beach County in the Treasure Coast, at the very least, you can celebrate Elijah Martin, former FAU Owl, who gets the national championship to his name. And we've got to find a way down the line to discuss how do you parse out which schools get to claim their guy when they leave, like which mid-majors. I believe if you recruit the guy like Elijah was recruited to the Owls, as well as if that same guy plays for you like a year or two, and Elijah played all 4 seasons. People forget that. Like he went there as a graduate transfer. He played 4 years with the Florida Atlantic Owls. And even the year after the Final Four run, they ran it back, and he came back for that as well. So he is an Owl through and through. He is a Gator and a champion. And he and the Gators are one of our stops on the Get Around. But it doesn't start with them, because as we hit the top headlines from across the nation, It all starts with the shocking news we got today. It's time now for the Get Around. The Get Around today brought to you by...
Hey, Culligan Man!
We'll talk Culligan in a little bit, but first we start with the breaking news of the day coming out of the NBA. Where's our first stop?
Next stop.
Denver, Colorado. After 10 years, Denver Nuggets fired Michael Malone with 3 games left before the playoffs. How will this result for the Nuggets moving forward this season?
Well, the Nuggets are likely going to land in the play-in. They also, again, unless Jokic has a heroic performance, I don't see them actually making the playoffs. I think this puts them into the NBA lottery, the draft lottery, and I think that's actually the angle that they're going for. There's no way you make a move like this because you believe you can contend this year. They looked around the West. They saw that the other teams are stronger than them. They're on a 4-game skid, and clearly they were not on the same page with their general manager or Michael Malone. They're going in a separate direction. The real question is, for 30-year-old Nikola Jokic, who is going to be a perennial MVP candidate until he retires, how do you retool this offseason to make sure that that guy's prime you're able to extract the most out of year after year after year? I do believe the Michael Porter Jr. contract looks like a mistake at this point. The lack of Jamal Murray down the stretch as he's dealing with hamstring issues, I'm not sure if that's something you can rely on Murray every year after year at this point, because another problem with that is he's a small guard. He's only going to get a year older. And you look around the league, and these other dudes, like just look at the West right now. Look at the guards in the West. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, advantage OKC. Look at the Rockets even.
Anthony Edwards.
I mean, the Timberwolves, of course, Anthony Edwards is a whole different stratosphere, and you know how much he loves to hound Jamal Murray. Like, they're never going to – I don't think they ever beat the Timberwolves in a 7-game series.
Even Reeves in L.A.
constructed. Not Reeves. I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, come on.
I wouldn't go – Luka Doncic, damn. Like, what are you talking about?
Reeves is a bucket.
What the hell are you talking about?
So you wouldn't say Reeves is like a top-tier third option?
Oh, yeah, I mean, as a third option, he's one of the better third options in the league, but like we got to pump the brakes on
But that's because he's behind
Austin
LeBron
Reeves.
James and Luka Doncic. If he were anywhere else in the league, I think he would be a clear-cut second option.
Absolutely not.
Come on.
Absolutely not. Austin Reeves is a damn good basketball player, but the hype out of LA, sometimes we get a little bit too far over our skis here.
We'll put a pin on this one.
He's good. We'll get back to that one, but what I will say is the Rockets got a hound, a dog in Amen Thompson.
Jalen Green as well.
Jalen Green is a scorer, but Thompson as a defender and as an athletic guard. Like, these are the kind of dudes you're going to have to deal with. I'm not sure if Murray stands the test of time with the youth that is rising up in the Western Conference. So you look at that, and then you also look at the fact that now you could maybe use that first-round pick. And I haven't even checked. I've been talking about their first-rounder all day. I haven't checked to see if they even have one because I wasn't prepared to talk Nuggets offseason today. But damn it, they forced me with firing of Michael Malone. I'm curious what they do with this first-round pick. I do think that they're going to need to bring in some kind of offensive creator, some kind of guy that can fill in for Jamal Murray stronger. Again, Russell Westbrook tried. That's not the thing you want to rely on at this point in his career. This is now all about the offseason for the Nuggets. It is nothing about 2025 as it pertains to the playoffs, and the best-case scenario for them is to miss the playoffs. Just be real about it. Just like the Heat. You need to get you a guy that can help you contend because the league is young and strong at the top in both conferences.
Next stop.
San Antonio, Texas, where they're fresh off of celebrating after that national championship. Entering the tournament, Will Clayton Jr. was a projected second-round pick. Has his value changed? Does he have a shot at being a top 3 pick in this next year's NBA draft?
Absolutely, his value must have changed because people still getting his name wrong. Like, my dog, Walter Clayton Jr.
You know what? That was autocorrect.
I know you know who Walter Clayton Jr. is. I'm just saying, like, the fact that we could even still do this at this point proves to you that he still is flying somewhat under the radar. I think he has obviously he has the temperament to be a great guard in the NBA. And when I say great, I mean he could be a starter level player. The guy feels confident to shoot it from any point. He has great problem solving. I love the fact that when they started doubling off of the pick and roll, he was not forcing shots up. He did throw some bad passes, some bad turnovers here and there in the first half. He never got out ahead of himself. He never forced shots and did things that would hurt his team offensively to be selfish. He relied on his teammates, and then down the stretch, he made all the plays that mattered. The and one layups, they kept running horns, and then he would cut to the basket and get good looks at the rim. And most importantly, the thing that I like the most out of Walter Clayton that I believe is going to translate is the fact that he is an all-out effort guy on defense. He's not the greatest defender, but he gives effort in that closeout at the end of the game. We're always going to remember it as just a turnover by Houston, the fourth straight turnover on 4 straight possessions. But the fact that your guy that is usually closing games with the ball in his hands as an offensive threat, drawing comparisons to Steph Curry, he won them that national championship with a all-out effort closeout from it felt like he closed out was that Wembanyama or Walter Clayton Jr.?
I bet Sharp did not even see him coming because he kind of was screened off by a player. And there was a lot of traffic in between him and Sharp, and he still had the determination to find himself and make that closeout where, honestly, I think if that shot were to leave Sharp's hands, that was going to be a block.
You say block, I think he might have maybe
or
grazed it. I do think that at the very least he affected that shot in a way that made Sharp have a dull moment. That made Sharp do something that was literally outside of his own character. And again, to see that kind of effort, Walter Clayton Jr. needs to be a lottery pick in the NBA draft, and I hope he falls to the Miami Heat. Will be a perfect fit with a guy like Eric Spoelstra. Let's make it happen. Clayton the Biscayne. Who says no?
Boulder, Colorado. Travis Hunter spoke with Bruce Murray on Sirius XM about his plans to play both ways in the NFL. Take a listen. Sorry, little technical.
All good. You know what?
Here it is. Take a listen.
Both, just like you saw me play.
You want to do both. How many snaps in a football game can you play?
All of them, if they give me the chance and the opportunity to do it.
So we were talking about the challenges that come with it. You got to be in offensive meetings. You got to be in defensive meetings. You got to be in wide receiver meetings. You got to be in defensive back meetings. How is there enough time to do all that? How did you prepare for that when you played college?
Well, we kind of got 24 hours in a day. We probably sleep for about 8 of those, so we probably got 16 more. So the 16
and all
that
I'm
I'm
dedicated to those.
Yeah, all of them dedicated to football.
Travis Hunter, outside of Cam Ward, is the only potential franchise-altering pick in this NFL draft. The Browns are fools if they do not pick him with the number 2 overall pick. I wouldn't even discredit the Titans for pulling the trigger on that dude. That interview and also the way he speaks confidently and the approach he has to people questioning whether or not he can do what he's done his whole life in the NFL, it reminds me of 2 guys, Damian, and tell me if I'm off base here. Remember when everybody and their mama tried to get Lamar Jackson to change positions? Remember
that was ridiculous. That was offensive almost.
Travis Hunter's a Palm Beach County native as well, and a Heisman Trophy winner, not former, a reigning Heisman Trophy winner. Same story for Lamar Jackson, who, since he was in middle school, coaches, fans, everybody, probably teammates was telling him, hey, switch positions. You'll be better as a receiver. Everybody was telling Lamar all the way up until, think about this, the dude won the Heisman as a quarterback for Louisville. For Louisville, his best receiver was Brian Quick, and he won the Heisman at Louisville. He had that team rolling, and literally all the way through the NFL draft process, teams were trying to tell him he should play a different position. He should work out as a receiver at the NFL Combine. He won the damn Heisman. And you know what? Even as he did it, he said, no, I'm not going to do any of those receiver drills. I'm going to be a quarterback. I entered the draft as a quarterback. He still fell all the way to the end of the first round, and the Ravens passed on him even before drafting him with the number 31 pick in that draft. So he reminds me of Lamar Jackson, his resilience and his way of being just defiant against other people's disbelief of him. That's one guy. And again, look how that worked out. 2-time MVP, perennial just contender with the Ravens. Another guy reminds me of another Palm Beach County resident, Tiger Woods. Remember when Tiger Woods, the interview when Tiger, I believe, was 16, just starting on the PGA Tour as a professional, getting ready to gear up and go. I forget the name of the journalist, but Tiger talked about how every time he steps onto a course, every time he enters a tournament, he expects to win. And the dude tried to tell him how he was crazy to believe he will be able to do that. How you can't have expectations on winning in this sport because golf is so challenging. But Tiger never believed. He never wavered, and he never fell to the projections other people were putting on his ceiling. And talk about a limitless ceiling. That's what Tiger Woods was in his prime, the second winningest golfer of all time. And had it not been for injuries and his body breaking down and maybe a Thanksgiving incident, this guy could be the all-time winningest golfer, when it comes to majors as well. He'll never do that now, but damn.
Now, it's one thing to say it and to kind of show that confidence. Now, it's another thing to do it.
He'll do it. Travis Hunter's going to win an MVP in the NFL. Travis Hunter's going to play both ways for whoever drafts him, and if the Cleveland Browns pass on him, it'll be one of the worst draft decisions they've made in the history of that franchise that has made poor draft decision after poor draft decision. Mark my words. You are a fool to pass on that level of talent.
Next stop.
We are going to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Oh, nice.
The Lakers play the Thunder tonight. Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves all questionable to play. The Lakers did blow out Oklahoma 2 days ago in Oklahoma. Are they avoiding this clash? Are they ducking smoke?
No, absolutely not. They're trying to rest their guys because they're on the front end of a back-to-back. You know what game matters more than this Thunder game tonight? The game that Luka returns to Dallas tomorrow. Preserve your energy. You have the playoffs coming up, and your two leading guys in Doncic and LeBron James. The most important thing for them is to be healthy. You already proved you can stump the Thunder out when you have a good game. You did that a couple of nights ago. Nothing to prove here. Roll out the role players tonight. I hate this for the viewing audience. I hate this for folks that are pulling up to watch the Thunder and Lakers play. But this is the keen move, the smart move. They are not playing tonight, and I commend J.J. Redick and that staff for doing so. It's a smart play. It's about championships, baby. That's it. That's the get around. And it was brought to you by Culligan Water. And I'm here to tell you that Culligan has been serving the community since 1936, Damian. I mean, Culligan Water has been one of the great additions to my home in the past couple of months. I will tell you that since we've installed our reverse osmosis system and since we have also gotten our water softener, things have been greater. You'll be surprised the amount of ways you can improve your day-to-day lifestyle just by improving the water in your home. And the funny thing is, you can't even tell how bad your water is until you get the free water test from Culligan. Go to Culligan.com right now. Just go on their website, schedule a free water test, and let me tell you exactly how mine went. My guy Tim pulled up to my house. He showed me both the difference between the drinking water for Culligan plus and what was going out of my faucet, and also the difference between soft water and hard water, which is what I had. I had hard water. I was confused as to why my shower doors that were glass always were stained. I was confused as to why 4 months into me moving into my new home, my water heater actually wore out, and it was because the heating element had got screwed up. Well, guess what? Those little things, even the way you wash your clothes, all of those things improve by getting your water softened, but also your drinking water and the ice in your refrigerator, which you put into your drinks that melts into what you consume. If you don't have some kind of filtration system like the reverse osmosis system I got through Culligan, there's contaminants, there's pharmaceuticals, there's all kinds of things that can be dangerous to your health just swimming through your water right into your body. You don't want that. Culligan.com.
Hey,
Culligan.com. Tap in with the team. Get hooked up today. Get a free water test and see what works for you. Oh, that was fun, man. The get around was great. The happy hour is next. Tina's pulling up. It's the 1 year anniversary for Theoretically Speaking. If you're on the YouTube stream and you see the balloons behind me, well, it's a celebration, baby. It's a celebration. We'll see what the cocktail of the day is with Tina. Damian is in for CCAT, and we're rolling into hour 2 on Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
You ready to step into the cage? Hard Rock Bet makes it easy. Place bets on your favorite fighters for this weekend's huge showdown in Miami. It's 314 in the 305. Download the app now and take a shot at your first bet. If you don't win, you get to try again with a bonus bet back up to $100. Roll with Hard Rock Bet, Florida's only legal sportsbook app. Payable in bonus bet up to $100. Not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. It's the happy hour, baby. It's the happy hour. And we are back in charge on demand. You can always tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 106.3. You can also hop on YouTube, search it at ESPN West Palm. That's how you can watch the stream and see us. And on the other side of the glass, not C-Cat today, but Damian Perez filling in, making things happen on the ones and the twos. And last night, were you going for the Cougars or the Gators, Damian?
I'm a Florida boy. I got to go for the Gators.
Say less. So Damian, happy from the results of last night. Congratulations for you. For me, though I am sad with what happened as a Houstonian, as a Houston native. I wanted the town to be able to turn up. I wanted Kelvin Sampson to get his rightful place in college basketball history. It would have been his 800th win, his 300th with the Houston Cougars, and it also would have been in the very city, San Antonio, that Kelvin Sampson made his return to coaching after he was unceremoniously dismissed at Indiana. So it would have been a full circle moment. It did not work out because of that incredulous ending to the championship game. So I'm a little sad, but I'm happy because this is the 1-year anniversary of Theoretically Speaking. The show turns 1 today, baby. A full 365 in the fold, and it would be nothing if not for the addition as well of Tina in the happy hour, and she's actually here. She actually pulled up for our anniversary. She did not forget. Hey, Tina.
Hi, Theo. Congrats on 1-year anniversary.
Yes.
This is so exciting.
Yeah, this is great. This is actually I'm absolutely full of joy. I'm thrilled. And as you can see on the stream here, I have on our newly minted Theoretically Speaking shirts. My lovely wife, Ashley, who was actually in studio but not on camera here, she hooked us up with some gifts. She got one for me, one for you, Tina. She got one for herself. She's wearing it. She got one for C-Cat, but let's ask Allen Iverson where C-Cat is right now because I'm trying to figure it out. AI, could you tell us where the hell C-Cat is?
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
So we found out today the tee times for the Masters. We also found out today that C-Cat's playing hooky from work because he's at Augusta National to watch the Tuesday practice round. He missed our anniversary for the Tuesday practice round. Tina, is this excusable?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I am so upset with him. I can't believe it.
Sick.
And too, everyone's like, oh, he's going to the Masters? I'm
Right.
like, yeah. And then it's like the practice rounds.
Yeah.
Really? On any day, you had to go today? Why?
I'm hurt.
I would be too.
Yeah. This will be grounds for a divorce and a marriage. If you miss your anniversary for practice, I get it. It's like the most historic golf course. And trust me, I've been there. And even on the practice round days, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
The ambiance, it is amazing. The food is delectable. I get it. But damn, C-Cat.
I have a question, though.
Yeah.
I know with the Masters, there's a lottery, you don't always get to go, right?
The ticket system is kind of weird there. There sometimes is a lottery situation for you to be able to be eligible to buy a ticket. There's also, though, a lot of back doors into it, so I'm not sure how C-Cat got his tickets. Back when I went, I didn't go as a fan. Spectator. I didn't go as a spectator or patron, as they say at the Masters. I went as credentialed media, so a lot different. So I'm not sure what that process looks.
That's what I'm wondering. Could he have gone next year? Could he have gone another time where it wasn't like he, only has maybe he applied and you don't always get accepted, or approved for a credential? Could he have gone next year?
Actually, no, I'm looking at it right now, and there's tickets available on SeatGeek right here. 2 tickets for the round on, what is this, Thursday and Friday. You can get 2 tickets right here for Thursday and Friday, just $12,000 a piece.
He can do that.
Yeah. Of course he can.
Yeah.
We haven't been doing this show for a full year for him not to be able to afford this. This is why we do it.
Yes, exactly. He could
Who wants to
have.
sponsor that?
I think maybe he could have, looked at a later date.
Yeah.
Or left tonight.
How could you not have this marked in your calendar? This is the April 8th. It lives in infamy if you are a hater, but it also lives in what's the word I'm looking for? The good word? Infamy's bad. It lives in fame. What do people say?
I don't know.
You don't know what they say?
No, I don't know what they say.
Lives in harmony?
Harmony? That's not the word either. But you know what I say? On a day like this where it is the anniversary, despite my Cougars, my hometown, losing the national championship, I'm in a celebratory mood because of the anniversary of the show. So what is our cocktail of the day, Tina? And it's going to be presented by F45.
The cocktail of the day is the anniversary cocktail.
Oh, man.
So we all have to enjoy this.
Yeah.
For the anniversary of Theoretically Speaking. And I know you will like it, Theo. Bourbon whiskey, vermouth, apricot liqueur, freshly squeezed lemon juice, grenadine syrup, and orange bitters. It was more like the whiskey, the bourbon.
Yeah. That's spot on. I love all of that, actually. Yeah. I have not had apricot liqueur. I've not had an apricot.
Interesting.
Yeah. That would be an interesting flair, but I honestly, and I think I've said this before, if you put an apricot in front of me, I would not know what the hell it was. I don't know what an apricot even looks like. It's never crossed my mind.
I eat dried up apricots.
We've had this conversation, right? But that's different than what a regular apricot in the wild looks like.
I don't know what it looks like.
What the hell is an apricot?
Aren't they small and yellow?
I don't know.
They're orange.
Yellowish
I
orange.
feel like it looks like I don't know.
We'll look
Like
it
the
up.
cuties. Like the oranges, the cuties. That's what I think an apricot would look like
Yes.
because a dried up
you're right.
apricot is
Looks like a peach.
okay.
Huh. Well, I'll be. Oh, does it taste like a peach? What does apricot taste like? This is compelling radio.
I don't know. You know what though? We're talking
Sweet.
about cocktails. And I feel like it's been a frequent conversation with me and some others where I'll be like, oh, I do a cocktail of the day. And they're like, you make a cocktail every day?
Yeah.
And I go, no, not really. I tell you how to make a cocktail every day and it's different. And they go, why aren't you actually making one? I go, I don't know. We're a year in though.
Yeah.
So maybe, we can slowly get there.
Maybe we pick a day of the week where we actually execute the cocktail of the day.
Right.
And then on that day, but again, that's the only issue is we got to find a day where we all don't have something to do right after the show because we can't. The powers that be here at ESPN West Palm and Good Karma Brands, they wouldn't let us drink it on air.
Yes, no.
But maybe we could do our last call, a toast on the way out.
Yeah.
With it or something. We can figure something out.
And we
Get
can
creative.
make it and not take a sip till 4:05.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Or non-alcoholic.
No, absolutely not, Damien. Who the hell would say something like that? Ridiculous idea. Tina, F45 though. So the calories that we build up with our cocktails of the day, we can burn them off at the gym.
Yes, we can. F45 Palm Beach Gardens, F45 West Palm Beach. It only took a little bit into the year to get you there, Theo Dorsey, and CCAT will have to get him in there soon to go to an F45
Oh, what if he
class.
has a master's practice or something to go to?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Excuses.
We're going to drag him there. We're going to get CCAT there. Us three are doing an F45 workout soon together. If it's a strength class, we can prepare for a cardio class or a hybrid class, which is a little bit of both.
Yeah.
We can go early in the morning, maybe like I like to, maybe a little later in the morning, like you like to. I don't know when CCAT likes to work out, but
First
we
off,
could go.
pump the brakes. A little later in the morning. I went at like 7:30. That's early to most people. You're just a freakazoid going at 5:30.
I'm crazy, and I like to go 5:15. Yes,
Crazy.
A little later than me. You go to 7:30,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Super early, crack of dawn.
That is
Some
early.
would say.
Yes, that is early. We could take class in the evening. Maybe it's a little lunch break class.
I like it.
Or maybe a class after the show. They have a time for everyone, for all schedules to make it work. It's 45 minutes. You're in, you're out, you'll break a sweat. You stick with it, you will see results. Check out F45 Palm Beach Gardens or F45 West Palm Beach Instagram pages to see the specials that they've got going on, or go to F45training.com to find a location near you.
It's fitness, it's functional, it's 45 minutes, man. I love me some F45. I'm glad to be taking this into our proverbial new year, our theoretically speaking new year. It's going to be great. All right, we can cut the Sabrina Carpenter. I do like me some Sabrina Carpenter. Good music these days. I'm also curious for you, Tina, if you have peeked inside of your bag. Again,
I have not.
When we started
Can I
this
now?
show, hold on. I'm gonna lead up. I'm gonna lead into it. I'm gonna give it a little build up here. When we started this show a year ago, we did not have a long time to ramp up to the debut of Theoretically Speaking. So I had to call in some favors to make sure that the debut was fully stocked, fully loaded, and it had the proper branding so that Palm Beach County, the Treasure Coast, and our digital audience all across the globe could enjoy it. So my first stop was hitting up my big brother, who was my role model growing up, like the guy I model everything I do after. Like, this is the guy. This is the man. He's the one that actually created our intro, the production of it, because my brother is also a producer of beats and DJ. So he made the intro. He made the soundtrack to Theoretically Speaking. Eternally grateful to him that he would help pour into the show creatively like that. But I was like, we also need a logo. We also got to make this thing pop and show the good people out there that Theoretically Speaking ain't just run-of-the-mill radio show. This is a show for the people. So I leaned over to my wife, who's an art director, who's a creative, you know what I'm saying? Very artsy gal. And she crafted what we know of today as the Theoretically Speaking logo. She also did the Russo and Rizzo.
And I don't know if your wife Ashley knows this.
Yeah.
She really created a brand for us, for 106.3, that like her logos, like we have followed.
Right.
Like we have really like followed, like even like everything after we've created, like with 106.3 FM has really came from the image of Theoretically Speaking and what that looks like, and too Russo and Rizzo. And so like she is so much a part of this show, this team, like this radio station, and I love it so much. And I love how, again, it wasn't just you have so many ties into Theoretically Speaking from your brother, from your wife Ashley, and it's awesome.
Yeah, my mom even called into the show a couple of times and gave her expert opinions.
Yes, we need to get her to a hockey game.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. She needs to see Kachuk in person so she can really, it can resonate for her.
Yes.
She's so happy. She tells people all the time, by the way, she's like, I knew who Kachuk was. I'm like, Mom, you guessed the sport he plays. You have no clue who Matthew Kachuk is. So I say all of that to say my wife Ashley also saw it fit against my will, because she knows I would have told her not to, but to help celebrate this 1 year anniversary with us. She brought in the balloons you see in the background here at ESPN West Palm in our studios here at City Place. She also got us some brand new spanking t-shirts. So open up your bag, Cena, right here on the stream. I'm wearing mine, and you can pull out yours and show it off. The very first Theoretically Speaking branded shirts. The quality, spectacular. It tells you where to find us. Right there, ESPN 106.3 West Palm Beach. And peep the back.
Look at the back.
Peep the back.
Oh
Weekdays with Theo, C, Cat, and Tina on ESPN 106.3 FM. That is absolutely gorgeous. So, again.
I am like speechless. When I came into the studio
Extremely happy.
right before the show, I immediately said I hug your wife, Ashley, and I go, oh my gosh, I love your shirt. And we had a combo a few weeks ago about like apparel for the show and good people, like all these things, like ideas that we had or you had for the show and how we could create and whatnot. And she was like, well, don't spoil it. And I was almost brought to tears.
Yeah.
Like everything too that she did today, from the balloons to the bags. She even put cute notes on my bag, which is so adorable. It's just, you guys are awesome, like, and I'm so appreciative of this show, and I can't wait to rock my new shirt.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Look, she did more for this anniversary than she did for our actual wedding anniversary.
Yeah, okay, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
No, but absolutely, it was a great surprise, and it was amazing to be able to have her be a part of the show from the ground up, like we said, and also be a part of the vision for this station going forward. So shout out to Ash. Shout out to what she does in the community as well. She's at some of the museums in town and whatnot, doing some stuff as well. So
I saw this. I already DM'd her about coming.
She's doing some good stuff.
Yes.
She's doing some good stuff. So, Tina, this is, again, a celebratory day. It's a weird day if you are a Denver Nuggets fans, because half of their fan base is celebrating. The other half of them are confused. Remember 2 years ago when the Nuggets were playing the Heat in the NBA Finals?
Yes.
And they steamrolled Miami. We had no shot.
Yes.
You went to one of those games, right? Or am I mistaken?
We went to one of those games.
Yeah, me,
yes,
you,
we
and
did.
Yeah, we went and did some shows from out there. I know I went to a couple of them. I couldn't remember whether or not you were able to watch it as well, but that Finals was not close. And that was the beginning of the end. There you go. The beginning of the end for the Jimmy Butler experience with the Heat, because they would never get back to that stage again. But it also, like, I don't know if you remember what the talk was around that time with the Denver Nuggets, but they were chatting about it being a potential dynasty. Like, Michael Malone was a folk hero out in Colorado. Nikola Jokic was and still is a mainstay and a crowd favorite. And he also is a perennial MVP year after year. Like, this is a contending team. Even this year, they stand as the 4 seed in the NBA. But did you see what happened today?
They fired their head coach?
They fired their head coach and their GM 3 games out from the postseason.
Wow. Something bad must have happened. Or, it's like you just can't wait any longer. Like, you just have to end it right now.
It feels like relationships were deteriorating. Mm-hmm. They didn't seem to be one of the teams that had a real shot to make it in the Western Conference playoffs this year. And I'm curious if they don't feel as if this roster, as currently constructed, not only could they compete this year, but I think they're starting to think like, we got to make some major shifts this offseason if we want a shot to be able to compete in a younger and more talented West. You look at the top 2 teams in the West, they're also the 2 youngest teams in the NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunder starting lineup, Tina, is younger than the starting lineup from the 1 seed Auburn Tigers from the men's basketball tournament. The Rockets are right behind them, right? Like they are just a little slightly older than them, and I think they're continuing to be on the upward trend. When you look at Amen Thompson, who looks like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league year after year. Alfred Şengün, Jalen Green, who they can either keep or trade to get a better number one option on offense. And Ime Udoka feels like a more competent and heralded coach in his position with the Rockets than what Michael Malone currently stood as with the Denver Nuggets. So they part ways with Malone. 10 seasons, winningest coach in franchise history. A guy who literally had been with the franchise, I think it's 2013, he got elevated. Had been with the franchise through what many would say, I mean, it was the only championship they ever had 2 years ago with Jokic. And with him kind of becoming the greatest Nugget of all time alongside Michael Malone, like you felt like this was one of those partnerships that was going to go forever. This sent shockwaves through the NBA community. The real thing that I take from it is it feels like the Nuggets, they're watching March Madness like you and me. They're seeing some of these veteran guards and some of these, sharpshooters around the nation, and they're like, yo, if we get a 23-24, if we're late in the first round, we might not get a stab at that. We might not be able to make some real moves with this roster. We gotta get a better pick. We got to do what the Heat should be doing right now and fall out of the play-in somehow and get you a good pick in the lottery. I think they're about to reset this offseason. I'm interested to see which way it goes. But it is weird, right, to be successful at your job like Malone was and then get the axe.
Yeah, you said like 10 years too.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So I feel like there's maybe something we don't know where it's nasty.
It's going to get nasty.
Yeah.
We're going to get some more information out of there. Also, I do got to say, Tina, we've been doing a lot of the celebrate. Instead of doing the applause for you, I'm going to do this. You know what it meant that the Gators won last night? It wasn't just the first championship for Todd Golden and the Gators since 2007. It wasn't just FAU alum Elijah Martin's national championship, which is a win for Boca Raton. It's a win for Owl Nation just as much as it is a win for the Gators because that is their son. That is their guy. That is a owl for life. He even threw up the owl on the court there as they were cutting down the net. It also means that Tina is the champion when it comes to our March Madness draft. Before the tournament tipped off, Tina, C-Cat, and I drafted potential national champions. And Tina and I, we played it fair.
Yes.
We played it cool. And we just went with our heart. We saw certain teams, and we were like, we're going to go with them. So you drafted Florida with your first pick.
Yes, it was.
That's the one that got it done for you. But after that, you were cool about it. Tennessee, St. John's, and Drake. Very respectable picks, though. Like, right, you're doing shots in the dark. It's fun.
Yeah.
For me, I went with Houston as my first pick. Mm-hmm. Boom. Me and you right there in the final. I also had Gonzaga, an 8 seed. I had Texas Tech, a 3 seed that made the Elite 8. I had Michigan, a Dusty May-led squad. I went with my heart. C-Cat, that dork. This dude picks Duke, Auburn, Alabama, and Michigan State. He literally hopped on the Hard Rock Bet app, Damien, and he just sorted by shortest odds and picked the best available. The dude, that was corny.
Unreal.
I hated it.
I mean, it just makes it look worse now that none of them basically. He wasn't even close.
He didn't. Both of his 2-1 seeds made the Final Four. Both of them lost in the Final Four in the semifinals. So last night was Florida versus Houston. It was Tina versus Theo, and as Sharp failed to get the jump shot off, Tina got the victory, 65-63. That means that C-Cat and I have to read off a poem that is going to be complimentary of Tina. Now, here's the thing, Damien. Who do you think is going to struggle more with reading the poem?
I got to go with C-Cat.
Yeah, he's going to hate this.
Totally, he's going to hate it.
Much more a punishment for C-Cat than it is for me. I
feel like you can kill it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like this is right up your alley.
Yeah, I like to spread joy, share good vibes, and then I'll uplift my people, man.
Nice little pun here and there.
Yeah. But C-Cat's going to hate this.
going to hate it so much.
So that is the punishment / award for our March Madness draft. And congratulations to Tina for making it happen.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
When the game started last night, I saw the Houston head coach and that it could have been his 800th win.
Saw that, right?
My heart, it started pulling my heart. I was like, oh, wow.
It's crazy.
It would be so sweet if he won. And I was like, but I need to win.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm selfish. I want to win. So
I was so conflicted, Tina, because the funny thing is I had this thing going on. I only filled out 2 different brackets for the men's tournament. Both of them had the championship game correct. One of them had Florida winning. The other one had Houston winning.
Oh, wow.
And the one that I had Florida winning was actually our GKB and ESPN West Palm one. I ended up finishing 9th amongst Good Karma brands in our company, and somewhere, I don't know where I finished with ESPN West Palm, but that's neither here nor there. I ended up winning the one in which I picked Florida in my wife's family's bracket challenge. So I am the king of college basketball for the Bozeman.
Well,
so shout out me.
There you go.
Yeah, they all got to bow down to the champ. But then also Florida winning also meant I lost this. So I'm a little bit sad.
Yeah.
And I love the city. I wanted Houston to get one.
I know. There was I felt like there was a lot of heartstrings just with Houston. That's where I'm like, wow, I would love this for them. And it's going to be heartbreaking if they lose.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, oh, I like
the way they
can
lost.
We tie?
Did you stay up long enough to see that finish happen live, or did you just watch it back in the morning? Because I know you have early workouts and whatnot.
If I'm sitting on the couch and I even sit down and get a little comfy, I knock out. Yeah. I was pushing it. I was like, there was only a few minutes left. I'm like, I told my roommate, I go, I have to get up. I have to watch the end. I can't fall asleep. 2 minutes go by, I'm out.
Over with.
I'm out. I'm like, okay, I can't help it.
Then the problem with college basketball, too, all the timeouts down the stretch, which, by the way, both teams didn't really have any, so we didn't have that problem. But the reviews down the stretch, it's like if you're going to review every little play in the last 2 minutes, why didn't you review the damn goaltend in the first half that you missed? I'm not going to be complaining about the officials guy. I'm not going to be that. But I will say it just sucks how long the ending of basketball games take in the NBA, but more specifically in college basketball. But congrats, you won the March Madness draft. You earned it. And I go back to this. We'll go back to the phone lines one time for the good people here on ESPN 106.3 before we go to the other side and have our midday midterms. What is the one word you use to describe that finish? Sharp, catching the ball with 5 seconds left, having a good look at the rim, but Clayton closing out so hard that he leaves his feet and takes a dribble at the same time and has to watch as the ball and the time roll out simultaneously, and the Gators won it. How do you describe it? What is the one word to describe the finish from last night? Incredulous, heart-wrenching. I mean, it's the worst way to lose a basketball game. What's one word you would use, Tina? Just to describe how things ended with Florida coming back from down 12 and also Houston not even getting a shot at winning.
Say gut-wrenching?
Gut-wrenching is a good one. Is that a hyphenated word, or is that? Yes, that's hyphenated. That works.
Yeah.
I like it. What's your word? Let us know here on Theoretically Speaking. Tap in on our anniversary. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Tap in on the Baptist Health Hotline here on our anniversary. Give us your one word to describe National Championship Final and how things played out for Kelvin Sansom's squad. Houston has made it to 7 Final Fours. They have won 0 national championships. That is also a record. It's crazy. The Baptist Health Hotline, 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Is joint pain affecting your quality of life? At Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, our team is experienced in traditional joint replacement surgery, as well as new, less invasive treatments, with the goal of returning you to what you love as quickly as possible. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. On the other side, we are going to grade Mel Kiper's annual 2-round NFL mock draft. What I always say in draft season, this is what you got to remember. It is the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you draft for need, you stay in need. I'm all for drafting the best available player, so that is going to be the view in which I take on Mel Kiper's mock draft. If you're reaching for a position because you feel like you need that, and you're reaching over a player that feels like he might be generational, he might be a greater talent, that means you're drafting for need. You're not drafting best available. And the teams that draft for need stay in need. We grade Mel Kiper's mock draft on the other side, and I'm going to have to ask y'all some advice because I got a huge event coming up this Friday, and it's going to be my first time being a celebrity judge for food, for a culinary experience. So we're going to go over a couple things with that as well. I'm excited. This is Theoretically Speaking. That is Damian Perez in for C-Cat. She is Tina. It's the happy hour on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. The Tampa Bay Rays announced that they will be renovating Tropicana Field. If we remember, Tropicana Field was hit by Hurricane Milton back in October of 2024. The roof came off. $22.5 million is going to be the fee. The Rays right now are playing their baseball at Steinbrenner Field, one of the spring training facilities for the New York Yankees. Building a new stadium has been a topic of conversation in Tampa St. Pete, but Rays owner Stuart Sternberg has kind of been difficult in this matter, and the rest of the league is trying to force Sternberg to sell the team. We'll see what comes to fruition. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management program.
Good people. Theo Dorsey.
May the force be with you.
Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium is hosting Star Wars Night presented by FPL on Saturday, April 26th at 6 p.m. Come see the Jupiter Hammerheads and Palm Beach Cardinals face off in a galaxy not too far away. Take pictures with your favorite movie characters and enjoy the fireworks after the game. To purchase tickets and to find out more information, stop by the ticket office or visit RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Hi. I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our past results and many positive 5-star reviews that we encourage you to read at smithball.com to learn more about our law firm. We have board-certified lawyers. We have lawyers listed in the best lawyers in America and in super lawyers. But most importantly, we have experienced lawyers located right here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that are ready to be your advocate and your voice, and fully prepared to start fighting for your legal rights today. Our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Woo! Tone. It is our anniversary here on Theoretically Speaking. It is the happy hour, and this is a vibe right here, Tina. You know this song. Huh?
Yeah.
A little bit? Damien? Anything?
It's a mood. It's a vibe.
There we go.
For sure.
A year ago today, Theoretically Speaking launched, and we are theoretically still on the airwaves. So for every day, we celebrate that we're still able to kick it with you all. So yeah, we can cue that down. I love it, though. I love the vibes. Appreciate y'all celebrating with us. And again, if you are just now tapping in, huge stuff going down this sports weekend. Not only did we just crown a champion in both men's and women's, it is Masters Week. It also is the day that we learned that the Michael Malone era is done in Denver after 10 seasons. Just quickly, I saw something where after their last game, Michael Malone called out players for not watching film and said that they're also not listening to him. So you were right earlier, Damian. This Nuggets surprise move that we just learned about right before we started the show could be tied back to him losing the locker room and losing, number one, the most important person in that organization, Nikola Jokic. I think that's what happened.
Absolutely, because I don't think they'd make this move if Jokic, like you said earlier, signed off on this.
Yeah. Well, they don't make it if he didn't sign off. So they went to him and he said, "Yeah, sure, get him out of here. Let's try to make this postseason run without him." Tina, you won the March Madness draft. You picked the Florida Gators with your first overall pick. They won the national championship last night. So in the theme of drafts, as we drafted our potential champions ahead of the tournament, how about we look at the Mel Kiper mock draft that he released today on ESPN.com. Mel Kiper, who's been doing this since for the past 40 years.
Wow.
Projecting out where teams are going to select players. He released his mock draft, and I got to say this one is probably my favorite one because it has teams at the top picking best available and not picking as much based on need. And again, when you draft for need, you stay in need. It is the self-fulfilling prophecy in sports, specifically the NFL. So instead of just talking about his mock draft, how about we play a little game of midday midterms? We're going to grade. We're going to grade here, Tina, picks in Mel Kiper's latest mock, which was released today on ESPN.com. Damian, what's one of the first ones we got?
All right, to kick us off, we got the team who's actually picking number one, the Tennessee Titans, to select Cam Ward from the University of Miami.
A+, and this is the only thing that will make me feel good about the Miami Hurricane season. The only player outside of Cam Ward, outside of Travis Hunter that I feel can be a franchise-altering pick is Cam Ward. He's the best quarterback. He literally changed the trajectory of Miami Hurricanes football. And without him last year, Mark Ingram said it himself on our show, former running back in the NFL, Mark Ingram, last week at the Hardy. He said, without Cam Ward, that team is nothing. So I agree with him. Maybe he'll be everything for the Titans. What do you grade that, Tina?
I'm going to give that an A+ as well because isn't Will Levis there?
Yeah.
And I only know about him because of Mayo.
Right.
And because of his girlfriend being on The Bachelor.
Really? I didn't know that.
She was on. Yes, she was on. I think.
Really, Tyler?
Was she on Tyler's season?
Well, that wouldn't make sense. Was she Hannah Brown?
She was on Pilot Pete.
Okay, so she was on The Bachelor. Okay, got you.
But I only know about the Tennessee Titans because of that, those two things: Mayo, the girlfriend, and him not being great.
Yeah, well, all three of those are true, and Cam Ward will solve for all of that. What we grade in here next on Midday Midterms from Mel Kiper's mock draft.
Selecting at number 2, the Cleveland Browns will take Travis Hunter.
All right, scratch that. Cam Ward's an A. Travis Hunter is an A+ at number 2 to the Browns, only because to me, it's can't miss. This is a generational talent. Teams that pass on him, if the Browns do, are going to regret it for the entirety of their NFL careers, which will be cut short if they fail to pick him. Andrew Berry, you're a smart man. Go ahead and pick Hunter at number 2. What do you grade that, Tina?
I'm going to give it the A+ as well.
Yeah. Hunter is a dog. He can play both ways, and he has the ultimate belief in himself. What's next here?
At number 3, the New York Giants will select Abdul Carter from Penn State.
A+. Don't pull on the quarterback when you have a desperate GM and a desperate coach who are both fighting for their jobs. Get the best player available. Abdul Carter, by the looks of things, they say he's going to be a level of talent that's close to like a Myles Garrett, like a Micah Parsons. Go ahead and pull the trigger.
I know nothing about this, so I'm going to trust you, Theo, and say A+.
A+. Those are great picks. Those are drafting best available and not for need. What's the next one?
At number 6, the Raiders will select Ashton Genty, running back from Boise State.
Damn, Mel Kiper is on top of it. They need to hire him as GM at all of these spots. I love that pick as well. That's an A. They're not ready to contend this year, but they have an older head coach in Pete Carroll, who is a veteran. They have Tom Brady in ownership, and Ashton Genty is another can't-miss prospect at running back. I'd hate to see his career get wasted away like in the first 4 years like Saquon did with the Giants, but I do believe this is a better-ran organization going forward than what the Giants were. Love the pick. That gives them a running game. It's got to be an A.
I have a great feel for this,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say an A+.
A+ is all around.
Yeah.
What's the next one? Do we have time for more?
Yes, we got one more, and this one can be a shocking one to most people. At number 9, the New Orleans Saints will draft Shedeur Sanders.
That's tough. So Derek Carr is there. Kellen Moore's in his first year there as a head coach. I got to give this one probably a B, only because I'm not sold on who Shedeur can be. But if they believe he can be a great quarterback in his system with Kellen Moore, I like them going by the Evan Cohen rules of drafting a quarterback when you don't necessarily need one. And if they feel like he's the best available, they're not passing on any generational stars in that draft outside of what we already talked about. So I like a little Shedeur to the Saints, actually.
I'm going to say a C. I kind of feel bad for Derek Carr.
Aw. Yeah, his time is almost done in the league.
Yeah.
You know? He's stopgap at this point. They're just wasting away days until his contract ends, and then they're going to hand it over.
Yeah.
So, as Jalen said in a YouTube chat, I'm handing out a 4.0 GPA, and it's because, I think Mel Kiper did a great job. All right, sue me. Midday midterms brought to us by EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing today. EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing are your air conditioning and plumbing experts. They've been servicing Palm Beach County and the general area out here since 2006. EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Tap in. I am a Gold Plan member with EDS, and you know how to get to them. EDSisyes.com. Here's the thing. You got to make sure you have comfortability in your home so that you can feel at peace, so your family can be taken care of. And if you don't have a provider, if you don't have a service team that is on your side like EDS can be, you're really just playing with luck. You're playing with chance. You see how it's heating up outside. It's April. You're going to blink, it's going to be May. You blink again, your air conditioning unit is going to fail on you, and you're not going to know who to lean on. I'm telling you who to lean on. It's EDSisyes.com. EDSisyes.com. Tap in with them today. Preventative care instead of waiting on a repair. EDSisyes.com. They are Palm Beach County's trusted service provider with both air conditioning and plumbing. Tell them I sent you. And get the Gold Plan like me. You can get 2 checkups per year and 15% off of repairs. EDSisyes.com. Tap in with the pros, man. They'll get you right. When comfort matters, EDS is yes. Damien, everything good?
Couldn't be better.
Anniversary day here. And Tina, I know it's obviously a little, I can't go without having a last call on the anniversary of Theoretically Speaking. Especially, Tina, since you are the champion of our March Madness draft. I mean, you got the number 1 overall pick and you nailed it. We could have stopped the draft after that first pick. That's the crazy thing.
I know. I think, too, I was also that day, I'm like, this bracket I'm looking at is bullery. I was not prepared for this. So, I'm glad I picked the Florida Gators.
Always go with your gut.
Yes.
Yeah, and this guy now is a Gator supporter, Damien. Aren't you a
I knew it all
Hurricane fan
along.
like me?
I also had them to win.
You did?
I did.
You did. All right, well, you're inclined.
That
You're
was
smart.
the only bracket I made, too.
What are you trying to take a knock at me for making 2 graphics now?
No, I'm just saying.
I thought I would get some credit for picking the hometown and you know what?
You know what? I'm not going to take shine on your anniversary.
Yeah, thank you. Damien.
Great job picking Houston.
You're really filling in for C-Cat Well trying to just rain on my parade. That's literally what he does on a day-to-day basis. I'm sorry, Tina. What's our last call today?
Fill in the blank, 2 words. Show up every day, and you'll never miss your...
Last day.
Close.
Best day.
Close.
Anniversary day.
Miss your calling?
Miss your... Show up every day.
Miss your
and
blessing.
You'll never miss your...
2 words.
Best day.
Something day.
Okay. Monday.
No.
Tuesday. No. All right.
Greatest day.
No.
Show
Close.
up every day, and you'll never miss your birthday.
No, that's 1 word.
Sorry. It's tough.
Lucky day.
Oh, lucky day, lucky day. Show up every day, and you'll never miss your lucky day. And I like that. It was an unlucky day for the Cougars, and they showed up, damn it. What do you say to them?
Sorry?
Did you see the look on Kelvin Sampson, head coach of the Cougars' face after that play? He was in shock. Not a thought in his head. He was a statue, no emotion. He didn't know what to do, what to say, how to feel. I have never felt worse for a fan base, for a team, and for a storied program like the Houston Cougars, who, again, 7 Final Four trips, 0 titles. 1 word to define what happened in the final last night. Chris in the YouTube chat says undisciplined. He's right. Vontae in the YouTube chat says soft. Also, I mean, maybe correct, but what I will say is I think he's a little sore because the Cougars, Houston took out his Duke Blue Devils. I just say it was Cowboys-esque. They did need more offense. Thanks for that, Ethan. Tina, 1 year in, theoretically speaking, I'm happy you made it here in the happy hour. We'll have to get on C-Cat on the other side because he failed us.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, good people. Thanks for pulling up with us as always. Go in love, go in peace, go in joy.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no.